Hi, today I'll be talking about Alara. Alara stands for as low as reasonably achievable, as you can see here, A-L-A-R-A. This is a topic discussed briefly in Chapter 2. Alara is a safety principle specifically designed to reduce radiation dose and release of radioactive materials. Alara is a regulatory requirement for all radiation safety programs, as far as I'm aware. The Alara program can only be effective if the people who are involved, such as doctors, radiology technicians or techs, and medical staff, make it happen and abide by its principles. So everybody has to work together to make that possible, to achieve Alara. Medical facilities should all have radiation safety manuals that provide guidelines for the responsibilities, which are consistent with both the Alara concept and state regulatory requirements. These guidelines may vary slightly from state to state, but the guidelines and requirements that are what radiation workers must adhere to in regards to dose limits. The radiation worker must wear a dosimeter, as you can see here, on a daily basis to measure how much dose that the body is receiving. Alara is a safety measure for lessening the amount of radiation. It works hand in hand with a three-step rule, which is called time, distance, and shielding. As far as the time, it is important to minimize the amount of time spent with ionizing radiation. Reduction in the amount of time can directly reduce the amount of radiation received. So you want the time of the exposure very quick. As far as distance, you can see here, distance, by doubling the amount of distance between your body and the radiation source, it will divide the radiation exposure by a factor of 4. You can see here's the radiation source. Here's a guy that's close to the radiation source. Here's a person that's further away. It's better to be further away from the source of radiation, so you don't get that much exposure. And it also kind of works hand in hand with the inverse square law. So patient dose can be significantly reduced by increasing the distance to the X-ray tube. So distance is good. Also, the shielding, as far as shielding the patient, using lead shields can reduce the amount of radiation exposure. There are different types of shields used, such as lead aprons, mobile shields, thyroid shields for your neck, lead barriers, and lead glasses, which contain lead within the frame of the glasses. Here's a lady wearing, she's got lead glasses on. This is gonadal shielding. This is a thyroid shield here. And this is just a regular lead apron. You can see here, there's like a little family here. They're wearing different sizes of gonadal shielding. Even the little junior guy has one. And it's always good to collimate. So you can see here, this person, the body mass is quite large. However, you don't need all of that excess body fat in your image or your study. You just need the skeleton. So you collimate inward, and that's, you get less exposure. This is some of the damage you can receive from radiation exposure. Of course, this was a long time ago. This is Clarence Daly's hand. And you can see it's pretty eaten up here by the radiation. And Here's a lead barrier that they use in hospitals and medical facilities. There's also like little lead barrier, little office type space rooms. As I said in shielding, you know, shielding is, it's something, shielding today is being used less and less in the medical setting due to its overall need becoming kind of a thing of skepticism. There's a lot of talk about it right now. Technology is advanced and the amount of dose received is becoming very minimal. You know, there's machines that are coming more technologically advanced. In addition, a shield can get in the way of anatomy. So if you're doing a KUB or kidney uterine bladder study, sometimes you need a second exposure because the shield can get in the way of the vital anatomy. Dose can cause damage to like tissue, cells, and can sometimes cause the cell, the cell can sometimes actually repair itself, which is a good thing. And sometimes a cell will die, which I guess is not, I've heard is not necessarily a bad thing. But when it gets, you know, bad is when the cell alters and changes its shape. That can lead to cancer. So the cell sometimes will multiply. That causes cancer. And basically, long story short, Alara is keeping dose and safety practices in mind while working in a hospital setting or anywhere where there's ionizing radiation. So I'll leave this at, you want to be smart and play your part. So that does it for Alara. Thank you.